Welcome back, adventurers, to another episode of A Hero Types with Asgartha. I'm Nick.
And I'm Chili.
And welcome to the studio, King Kojo himself, the greatest Kojo player in the world now. And here's the funny thing. We predicted this, Chili.
Yeah, the greatest player. Not just Kojo player, the greatest player in the world.
Yeah, we predicted this, Rinku. And you called us bold-faced liars, I think, if I remember correctly.
Sounds about right.
But welcome, everybody. Rinku.
Hi.
Yay! Massive applause.
Yeah, do you know what's funny is like it all came down for us deciding to say, Nick, you gave your bed for him to have a bed to sleep on so he would be able to win the Dallas qualifier, which allowed him to get in.
You managed to get a full 8.
I don't know if it was 8 hours, but or it was those McDonald's breaks in the midnights.
That's what it was. It was the McDonald's carbo loading that just put you into a food coma.
But congratulations, Rinku. Like, honestly, it's been two to 3 weeks now. How are you feeling in terms of coming back? Anything surreal? What are just your thoughts after decompressing from the craziness?
Do you get recognized on the streets now?
No. It's always tough to like I've never had a high this high, or if I have, it's been very infrequent. And it is definitely hard to go back to normal life. Like, you know, being a wizard's great and all, and then you realize you're a muggle actually, and then you just like go back and live life normally. And then the like recognizing me in the streets really just happens in Board Game Arena. Like, I can't play a game without it being mentioned. They're like, oh my god, I played against the world champ, or just like, oh, it was a pleasure playing against you. It's just like all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'm still just another Altered player, but the title's definitely cool. My girlfriend Val and I probably mention it like maybe once a day or once every other day. Like we want to keep like the vibes there while we can. The only thing I haven't done yet that I really want to is taking like a haul photo, like having like a photo of like my trophy and the boxes I won, and I got this, which wasn't even a part of the prizes and all that stuff.
Hold on, you've got a woolly back?
Yeah,
you got the first one given out.
Well, so they gave it to certain people that helped out with Worlds, and then they chose to give me one too.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know when this is going to go out relative to the extension that we got, but I highly recommend it. It has a bell, which wasn't intuitive to me.
This is going to go out on Friday.
Great.
So literally, I'm going to roll this over within a
35 euros, definitely worth it. It has this bell
100%.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, if all 1,000 people
it's
who have
soft,
currently...
super soft.
Oh my gosh. Look, if I could have ordered 75 of them, I probably would have.
Yeah. It was nice. Yeah, I got random stuff that like wasn't listed, I guess, just from, the community standpoint. Like Loki gave me a Loki mat, which was really awesome. Like the one that has all the stuff on it.
Yeah, so you and I, we're one of the few people that have it in the States, so...
All right. Yeah, just rub it in, why don't you?
It was so cool. I know, and we got to see that live when he gave it to you on the cast, the English cast.
That was really cool.
But it's been surreal then. I know you've spent some time on a couple of other podcasts talking about your preparation for Worlds. The hope that we go through here is not so much on the preparation, though you can bring that element in as much as you'd like, but it's more talking about the event itself. How did you go through? What are your thoughts as we go through? I don't know, Nick, if you can switch it as we move to the first screen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll go through screen by screen here, going through, giving some insight. First of all, like, what made you decide on these 3 heroes to come in? And was there anything left by the wayside that you thought, you know what, I wish I had? Although I don't think you should really have that, given you won. But what were your last place removals?
Yeah, well, so I famously, on another podcast, when it was decided that this was the format right after Dallas, did say that these were the 3 heroes I was going to play if they make that the format, just to show people that maybe we should consider a different format. Like, this was a format that I believe played towards my strengths, because I felt like I could kind of try to unify a strategy and just like attack a chink in an armor. Whereas if it was a format that's more about diversity, I think that would be more difficult for me, given that I've...
Yeah, and the format you're talking about is Conquest, right? So for those
Conquest with a ban.
Conquest with a ban, which means you come in with 3 heroes, and then your opponent basically bans one of these heroes before the event, or before you actually play each other. They get to see your full deck list, though. So they can see which uniques are really ridiculous, which ones will play against best or worst against the cards that they have. And do you both simultaneously say to each other, or do you kind of hide it? And then how do you reveal that?
Yeah, you might have seen it on stream, but we actually had 6 hero cards. So you take out your 3 hero cards for your deck, like that corresponds to the appropriate faction. So they just gave us 6 different faction cards. And then you pick the 3. So mine was like an Atsadi, like things that didn't actually line up, but is the right faction. And then you give those 3 to your opponent. You shuffle them, and then you both simultaneously put one face down, and then you reveal that, and that's the faction you banned of the opponent. Then you give the 3 cards back, or like as a 2-in-1. Then out of the 2 remaining, you would select which one you're doing.
Okay, so then it's the same thing, not only for selection of what gets banned, but what you play first. So you don't have no idea what they're going to select, and you just reveal the card, and that's what you play. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. But why these 3?
So I just wanted to pick the 3 most aggressive heroes. I wanted to have as unified as a strategy as possible. That way I can just try to attack their 3rd best deck at attacking their worst deck against an aggressive strategy. Which I guess turned out well in some cases, and definitely got lucky in others. But that was why I said that months ago after Dallas that I wanted to play the sort of lineup. So then I guess like leading up to it, I had like slightly more indecision, mostly from the standpoint that I was worried that the quality of uniques that I would have access to wouldn't be good enough to compete with other Worlds competitors. So I tried like some things, like I tried seeing if I could get some dice roll uniques for Nevenka. I tried seeing if I could. So Idyllic has a lot of cool like sleep uniques for Tasia. There's the hostage deck. And I guess like instead of Kojo, it could have been Basira. So those were probably the major choices for me, like that pool. I really like Lindaway, but I just didn't think it's like World's caliber or like, because when you have like Conquest with a ban, you're like defined by your 3rd best deck. Whereas if you have Conquest with no band, then you're defined by your diversity. So I tried pretty hard to just try to take advantage of the format. But yeah, not going too much into my prep, but even literally the night before deck submission, I sent a message to the AQZ chat that said, if submission was right now, I will play Basira, Sigismar, and Hostage, Moyo. And then it was specifically Friday, seeing Pava win was just like, okay, like Pava's obviously like one of the best Kojo players, but I think I am too. So like, all right, I'm back on Kojo, like easy. And then for Traced, it was mostly that I saw that Runefolk and Keelan Guy both lost their round 1s like very handedly, playing Hostage in both of them. And then I was looking at like bans and stuff like that with Keelan Guy, and we tried like looking at if we could like make the deck a little bit better against Sigismar, because I thought my Sigismar and Kojo were good against Sigismar. And then at some point he's like, you know what? That's just not what this deck's trying to do. Like, I'm pulling the plug. You are playing Trace. And he just left.
Wow. Now, I'll say this. Like,
yeah.
I heard you constantly in our chat, and we're both members of AQZ, right? Saying that you had never played Trace till basically the event, and you still won. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm a very lucky individual. Yeah, I maybe have like 3 games on Trace or something. Like I played some of Insane's like no unique list when that was like early in set 4, and that's about it.
So was
Absolutely
there
wild?
Now, you won everything, but I'll just say it would have been so sad to see you play Basira, even though Basira is my favorite of all the Bravos characters, because you're so known for Kojo. And then at the end, winning it, getting the 1 of 1 Kojo card. Come on.
Yeah,
it was meant to be.
Yeah, so I feel like where my head was at with the Basira Sigismar Hostage was like, that was my like try hard, winning matters more than identity or anything like that. And then I guess like Friday kind of allowed me to go back to like, no, I should have confidence in myself as a player and like what I want to do and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think that was like the major swap, but like really just being at the LCQ really helped me like kind of readjust. Like if we had to lock in decks on Thursday, it would not have been as like I do believe like and like you can't like hear this when I'm on stage with like Keelan Guy and Rune, and then they're like, "So what do you think about your lineup?" And literally every round, I always talked about how Hostage would have destroyed my opponent. And even on the stage, I'm just like, yeah, I guess if I wanted to win the event, I should have played Hostage.
That's so funny. Now, of course, do you think some of the luck came from the shirt that your girlfriend made as well? Which, as you are showing on screen right now, is the second version of the shirt. So it's Rinku with just the Dallas qualifier previously, now with the world champion right in front of it. So fantastic work. How can people get a hold of that?
Yeah, we're still working on a distribution system. We don't know if we want to like make all the shirts, have them, and then send them out, or use one of those websites or services that you upload the image and they just take care of it. You can get it on a mug or like a shirt, and they just do everything. If people later on, either of you or people in the comments have recommendations for those type of sites where you can upload an image and then they take care of everything and then just pass you on when people like buy the stuff, like, yeah, you can hit us up.
Awesome. No,
Sick.
Looking forward to getting one. I will. I have to, right? Because I can.
Yeah, everybody should.
And on my one, I got to put on it. I knew you before you were famous.
That'd be
So for sure.
Yeah, everybody has to remember that we got to sleep with Rinku.
Well, hold on.
That's
Oh, Nick, Mr. Appropriate, right there, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm super appropriate. I'm the consummate professional of this podcast.
So, let's go through the first slide, because I think it's really cool to see. Before the Worlds happened, we had a last chance qualifier, and the last chance qualifier allowed 8 people to join. Now, as we're going to go through that, the first thing I wanted to go is you chose certain uniques, and we're going to go through your decks. Is there anything that you want to talk about each deck as we go along? Whether you chose the uniques to support the deck or the deck to support the uniques? And also, in saying this, like, would you have changed anything given the plethora of uniques and pleasure? I guess there's so many different things that you saw at Worlds in relation to how you build these decks.
Yeah, so we have the Kojo list on screen. So pretty much after I decided I was going to play Kojo, I stole a freeloader for like 2 hours instead of him doing coverage. And at first, I was just trying to see if I could find Pava's list, which I was unsuccessfully able to do. But their Pava list is like closer to like an Asadi-inspired like Kojo list. Like they play more like top end and some of the ramp uniques. But I want something more traditional in terms of Kojo, or the style that I enjoy. And Freeloader understands how I like playing Kojo. So then instead I moved over to looking at 2 lists in particular. It was DSL Genetic, who has played a lot of Kojo over the last 2 sets. And I really like the style or the way that they play. And the other one was actually Belteshazzar, who beat me in a mirror like a week earlier. And he was talking about how he thinks Halua could be pretty good and one of the good payoffs for Spotter. So kind of looking at kind of merging those 2 decks, I would say that like the major decision points, there was definitely one on uniques. So we knew that we're going to play the Ozma and Orta Spy. But we weren't sure on playing this Tooth Fairy versus playing a 3rd permanent, so a 3rd Haven, and playing my Orta Spy from Dallas, which has Arrow Sabotage, but also if you have a landmark, it discards a character that has hand cost 3 or less. I kind of wanted the Orta Spy because it's another 1 for Spotter, another 4 cost for Spotter. And also it's just like the highest upside. But he kind of just landed, Freeloader kind of landed on like, I just want to be doing good things on turn 1 every time. So the Tooth Fairy really helped with that. Also, we want to just have more things against Trace if possible. Because historically, my win rate against Trace and Axiom in general, like of all the factions, I have the lowest win rate against Axiom. So we felt like I might need some, extra assistance there. The other contention point was, so for a while we had no Chirons and no Pathfinders, but once again, just trying to have more situations where we have like acceptable early games. Part of the reason why we felt like we could remove them at first, though, was because the Spotters kind of like taking the spot that those would previously have. So you have roughly the same number, but we just like really didn't want to blank ever. And I was very adamant about the Rages, and Belteshazzar also really likes Rages. It's just like acapella training, 1 cost 2/2 split card. Like it's It's very good.
Yeah, interesting
So,
that your build was just 2 permanents, given when you played Dallas, you had so many more available to you.
yeah, well, part of that was just how prevalent like Axiom was, or like Trace. Like in that meta, like there were only, I think, like a handful of people in Dallas that played Trace. But here I expect most lineups or every other lineup to have Trace, and I don't think I could ban it with my lineup. I felt like my lineup would usually just have to ban something broken, which usually isn't traced, or ban Basira, because that's Trace's worst matchup. So with that in mind, I felt like if I have to be battling Trace a lot of the time with my Kojo, I would want to play less Havens. Okay. But yeah, like I could see the rare Order Spy being like a third Haven, for instance, but wouldn't change much more.
No, good job. I love that you added a few cards from the new set. Halua being one of only. Did you ever get a chance to use it?
I almost got like trapped into using it, where like I could have played it on a board where it could be Beauty Sleeped and then I get double Van Stones that I mana'd it, but I think I might have revealed it once and then mana'd it. So part of the reason why we had that instead of 2 Hungers was to get the rare slot back. And we were just saying how we want things that have that high end like impact. It's not as good as the Hunger, but it's like kind of impactful. But when you mana, at least like in theory in the game, if you try to not mana your rares, then you just have better cards than your opponent if they are manning their rares. So we want to limit how many rares we would have to mana in opening hands or like throughout the game.
It's good little.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
All right,
and you're also playing Priya too, which is one of Chili's favorite cards.
I love Priya.
Well, yeah, so like a lot of people, including Freeloader, were like pretty adamant about rare Priya, and I know Pava played rare Priya. But I just want to mana that card. I really don't want to play Priya. So, like, if the stats line up that it's going to be good, good. If I got to reveal to a spotter and, like, shove it into the mana right afterwards, great. I didn't play it all tournament. I had to, like, get rid of it to a reserve, and that's it. So
it's interesting that card draw being very central to your gameplay by having to have the spotter be available to you.
It's just Baba Yaga, so you got to play it.
Excellent. All right, let's have a look at the second deck and some of your thoughts here as well.
Goodness freaking heck, dude. Are you kidding me? Two of these uniques are, I mean, obviously, you know, you made Chili famous with the...
Appreciate that, thank you.
With the Chili Kokoba. Yeah.
Now it's got a name. That's a great name for it. We'll just call it that forever.
Yeah, that's what...
Well, so now you can't sell it then. But, like, so on my phone, there's, like, 2 autocompletes. It's if I type Simon, it autocompletes to Mulan and Chili, then autocompletes the next one to Kokoba.
That's awesome. Nice. That's awesome.
So the way I practiced for Kojo was by playing no Kojo and just watching Genetic for 2 weeks. And I just knew that I would be able to like come up, like I would play optimally if my list was good. Like I wasn't worried about playing well. Sigismar I've always like dabbled in a little, but I never like put focused time into it. So the way I actually practiced for this was by playing a bunch of no unique events. And I think I won 2 of them and I forgot if I won a third one before Worlds or not. But I was just very adamant that if you just take all these Ascend things and just put it in Sigismar, it'd be good. And we also have a Sigismar player on our team, Void, who gave a lot of like good insights and points of view as to like different vantage points for Sigismar. But one thing I was very adamant about was specifically how good Ugly Duckling was. So for me, I just view Ugly Duckling like a Jack Frost, but it just has Arrow Ascend instead of like Arrow Exhaust. But then also has like a Scout ability, or the fact that you could play it for 1. You can use the support ability, which I've never done, but I could see it mattering in some like really niche like... So like there's this concept that exists from a famous Magic player in Magic that is like, he just says, yeah, you could plan for the first couple turns, but at some point, the game is messy. And that's the word he uses, and I've been using that a lot too in other TCGs. It's that you can plan all you want, but sometimes having an amount of flexibility in your cards is important, because you can never anticipate that the terrains would be exactly this, and exactly this would happen. Like, anyone that thinks they can plan all of that on turn 1 is just like, or in deck building, is kind of lying to you.
Yeah.
It's just like the amount of times where it's like, oh, I didn't want like Jack Frost this, like 2-2-2-2. I actually wanted to 2-2-1-1. And this gives me the option of holding the extra 1 and playing the duck with like the extra pay 1 if I want to and stuff like that. So yeah, been very adamant about the duck. But anyhow, yeah, I just played like Ascend heavy builds in NUC. And that was just like, the way Sigismar is structured is you usually just play token spammers, card draws, in some case both. And so it's just like, fine, I like cut some gift of selves because I had these uniques. But like the structure of Sigismar and understanding how to play it as a whole, you really don't need uniques to do that if you're not playing resupply combo. So I just really tried to master the fundamentals of the no unique version. And then when I got to play like a juiced up version, I'm just like, okay, like I was used to my cards being bad, but at least I got to do stuff here.
I do have a question here. What was the reasoning behind playing 1 Bumblebee and 2 Ducklings rather than just 3 Ducklings?
Yeah, well, so like along with that messiness of the game, like imagine if you like have 2 Ducklings, but like it could be a lot better to have the Bumblebee for planning like the next turn out. Bumblebee also has some like really good matchups, whereas like Duckling's a little bit like flatter in its like power level. Bumblebee's a little bit more like skewed towards like, oh, you don't have removal, or if I find out that their only removal is mana eruption, then I'm like, great, like this Bumblebee's gonna be great. But like the 3 cost from reserve is like pretty difficult to get off sometimes, so you don't want to like flood up like too many of the same. I actually don't even consider those like comparable from like what they're trying to do. Like the Ugly Duckling, I view it as a 2-drop that can be a 1-drop, so they're like not the same to me. Like Bumblebee to me is like a souped up 4th Crier, and it's not like the Ugly Duckling, even though they have like similar costs.
Interesting.
Oh, I understand that. And I honestly love the fact that you played Moth Collision.
Yeah, so that's what I was.
I think that's such a good spell.
There are 2 questions that I have on your build, and Saw is one of the best cards that people need to be using in Sigismar because you get so much benefit for very little, and it's an after you as well. But Moth Collision is one, and second with the Koba, I know it is mine, but it's a question of it's your only card that's a character that costs 4. And in many people, the moment that it goes over 3, you just don't want to play it. But yet, the payoff seemed good enough for you. And was it useful from a perspective of bringing fear into other players, or how did they react to you once you started playing the decks that you had?
Yeah, I guess I haven't thought about specifically my Sigismar record because let's see, I played it. Yeah, I guess I went like 3-1 with Sigismar, only losing to Javi on the Auroch like combo, like resupply combo. But yeah, well, so like Kokoba, like the Ugly Duckling really helps. Like the Kokoba, I kind of knew that also when I was planning the Duckling. So your goal is on 5 mana to play Kokoba with like a 1-drop, because then you have 5 characters in play. So even if they have a small removal spell, you still draw the 2 at dusk. Because you have your token from Sigismar, Kokoba makes a token, and then your 1-drop makes another token, so you have 5 characters. So as long as they can't knock out the Kokoba proper, you're drawing 2, which is obviously huge. So, and like you can see that this list is like skewed way more down in terms of like its costs than even other Sigismar lists. So that really like complements the Kokoba upside. Like you'll see people play with like more 3-drops or even more 2-drops, and I have like more optionality 1-drops. The Moth Collision was actually a last-minute change. If I could do it again, this sounds really weird, but I actually didn't want to play Monolith Legate. I actually just couldn't find my 3rd Frog Prince. I was worried that no one had one there.
Nice.
But I should have played 1 Ortis Spy, because in open deck lists, it's important to be able to sabotage, and Legate's my only sabotage card. So like they know that they could just hold something in the reserve for like 3 turns and then play it, and I can't do anything about that. I don't know how many of my opponents actually like read into that. Like some people just assume cards are in a list and don't think by omission. So I don't actually know. But the Moth Collision was mostly a concession to like Teja or Basira if for whatever reason I couldn't ban Basira. But if I could do it again, I'd probably like switch out like the Moth Collision for probably not rare Ortis Spy, but again common Ortis Spy, and then maybe get another rare in somewhere else. But otherwise, I would keep everything the same.
Okay. Excellent.
Nice.
And then your thoughts on your last deck, the last one you basically built, your least tested, but with some fantastic uniques that you must have borrowed, unless you got these.
Stupid.
Yeah, so like these uniques aren't like the best, but they're like pretty good. So I borrowed them from All the Marbles, who ended up not playing Trace and played a lineup with other things. We saw a lot of really good Trace uniques throughout. The Martingale I borrowed from Frenico. Let me close the door real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're totally good.
Welcome back. I gotta go back to the interview, though. Okay, one sec.
Hi, Val.
Hey, Val. No, so as he's going through here, yes, you got the high back. There we go. Like,
all right, she's gonna wave.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yeah. This is the power couple of Altered right now. We got to see you on cast a couple of times.
Yeah, they asked where they could get the shirts, and I told them if they could tell us a website where we could upload the things, and they'll be coming,
Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. Look, just go to your LGS and be like, look, if you put this on your Shopify, we'll give you like 20%.
There you go.
We'll see. But
so,
bye.
Good luck.
Bye, Val. Thanks for making a guest appearance.
All right.
But yeah, so anyhow, so yeah, like if you look at a lot of other deck lists, though, there are like some kind of busted uniques. So these were good and like definitely serviceable. I'm very thankful. I'm not gonna act like I'm not. But they're like mid tier, like of the world's uniques. But the Martingale is like very interesting. So I think in terms of uniques, you either play Nuncy style ones or you play like, this is not the same as like the otters that make infinite tokens. Like that's just a different style entirely. So either make a Nuncy style ones or you have ones that are good enablers. So like Tempete, I know, has like a really good machine on the ice that just like right away resupplies twice. Like those are good. The Martingale falls under that of just like, like I played against Nadir. I guess I'll get into that match later.
Okay.
But I had literally the best opening hand I've ever seen in Altered, which I was very thankful for because I had no idea how to play Trace. But anyhow, I say that, but like I know that on the world's level, I was definitely one of the worst like Trace players. But I know like in the abstract, I'm probably like above average or something. Like, so
is there anything in the deck build that you have that you felt was unique to how you had played it and why it worked for you, at least in concept?
Yeah, well, so I actually wanted to just blindly follow what Fernico wanted to play, but then what I questioned, so most of the list is his, but then what I questioned was I looked over time and I saw that on 39 cards, as set 4 came out, more people were playing Paju and he was playing no Paju. His uniques were slightly different. He has slightly more landmark-oriented ones. So he told me, or like permanent-oriented ones. So he told me it was reasonable to cut a bug-out bag for a Paju. But then just researching like lists on 39 cards, I saw some people were cutting Reef for like the second Paju. And really I want a 3 Paju. That way you can kind of like get down and be a little bit aggressive. It's another thing that if you just resupply into because you had a stray resupply, you don't have to like discard to reserve. You could just like pop it into like the landmark zone. So really I just took Fernico's list and cut those 2 for 2 Pajus.
Nice.
I actually really like this list. Our Aerolith Reef is probably one of my favorite cards right now in Axiom. I think it's a really good card. And I see a lot of people playing Paju. The one that I'm surprised that you didn't play was Puppeteer.
Like Axiom Puppeteer, like the Sabotage one?
Yeah.
So the problem there is like you're forced to sacrifice a permanent, which like you might not want to do. And it's like stats aren't good for the cost, like paying 3 to do that. Like you kind of just want your cards to be like very efficient enablers or like some amount of like churning through your deck or like velocity or like
that's
whatnot. So it kind of just like doesn't do either is I guess the problem.
That's true. And this isn't really like an Aerolith generating deck either. So so that kind of makes sense.
It's also it looks like there's a lot of non-characters, which you don't see this level of non-characters in Trace, but it worked for you. Just because you want to keep on playing as much characters out that are cheap. But this is good. Congratulations, though. Very ballsy to go into World Championship with a deck you had not tried out very much. But hey,
I mean, look, if it works, it works.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on to here. So I wanted to quickly take us through. So in the 32, there were the top 32 is all we had at Worlds. What we're seeing here is the breakdown of all the various characters that were available in top 32. And what we can see here is really Sigismar taking up almost a quarter of all the decks that were presented, or all the heroes that were presented. Trace as well. I actually would have thought Trace would have been higher, and no one was going to use Sierra. It was almost everyone was going to use Trace, given how strong they are. But not everyone played that. Some people played against the field. And then what you can see here in terms of the faction that's mostly represented was in the Bravos faction. And you can see the split between the 3 heroes, all of which had fairly strong representation. What you don't see here is much in Izmir. There was you played against an Afanis. I'm not sure if you actually played if they played Afanis against you, but that was basically it. The main thing that I look here though is no new heroes, not a single one. And for me, for a world event, that makes sense given you needed to have as much time playing the decks. But maybe some of your thoughts on why maybe no other heroes from Skybound Odyssey were present. Now, they were in the LCQ, though.
Yeah, I think the problem is because Conquest with a ban, you're defined by your third best deck. So it's like, why would you choose to risk it like that? Like, you choose to play Isari, and like it just ends up being weaker than your other two. And it's just like, well, if you can't buy a game with it, then you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah. Anything of note here, Nick, for you as you go through here in the top 32?
And honestly, yeah, I'm actually surprised that Bravos had such a wide spread. Like, that genuinely surprises me. I would have expected at least every person to bring Sigismar, and so I would have expected that number to be a lot higher.
But some of the Moon decks were good. Rin was also a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Well, so Papa's been playing a lot of Rin, and like they LCQ'd in, so like I'm not sure how much that like went into the planning versus like, oh, this is a fun deck I played on the side I want to play, but they like definitely played really well and their list was really good. So when I was trying to find like their Kojo list, I literally only found games of them playing Rin, so they were definitely very practiced on it.
Yeah, and I think genuinely, the way that this breaks down is that Goring, Rin, and Afanis each had one person playing.
Yeah, that's right.
So just based off of that kind of like that way of looking at it, you have, what is that, 96 decks? Yeah, so 96 decks.
Yeah, so like there's about 22 Sigismar players, for instance.
So
I would have expected that number to be higher.
In terms of which one, more, but not everyone likes playing Sigismar as well. There's that element of you got to play what you love, and I'm glad we got to see some level of diversity. Now, the one thing
I am too.
The other part that I wanted to take from here is I was very much not sure if I was going to like the last chance qualifier in terms of people that can book a ticket late, but I absolutely loved it watching it.
Yeah.
Like, I was up super early to watch as much as I could before the girls were up. Then watching the replays, I think I watched all 11 hours or ridiculous 18 hours, however long it was, because it went over 2 days. This is the crazy part. I want to talk about those people. So there was 1,000 players that separated themselves between a morning shift and an afternoon shift. Some of them played both, of course. There's going to be a couple of people that do that, wanted as many strikes as they can. But the afternoon shift, they didn't finish their games till 1:30 in the morning, and then they had to call time to say you have to come back at 7:30 to finish the games, and then go into a 9 o'clock start straight into the World Championship.
Yeah,
that is absolute insanity, and I think Harvey was one of those guys, and he made it top 5, right?
Yeah, Harvey, Luigi.
I love that they got that chance.
Yeah.
And I think they should do that again. I love that people had the chance to be one with the rest of them. But some of your thoughts on that in terms of, did you enjoy watching the games? Do you think it gave you more insight in terms of what would be played at the big event, or more for entertainment?
So they actually made it very difficult to watch the LCQs, even though it was like in an open area. They certain judges were more strict than others, but some wouldn't let you watch games easily. Some just wouldn't allow you to stand behind a player because of like facial expressions from watching their card draw or something. They didn't want anything to leak. And some judges were a lot more lax, so I could only watch the tables of the people that were lax. And at some point it became too difficult, so I actually just stopped. But I was hoping to be able to just watch LCQs the whole time, because I, as a spectator, I'm a fan of the game. I love watching games of Altered if I can. So I would say that was kind of a negative for me on the day. I really want to just watch the whole day, and I really only watched 30 minutes because they made it very difficult.
Were you watching that on video, on replays, or anything like that, or you just couldn't?
Only afterwards. Right now, I just finished group stages of Worlds, but I had to spend a long time on the LCQs.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah.
This is you. Probably the most studious disciple, boom, boom, right there, of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, like, even in the group stages, like, everyone's, like, obviously, like, top caliber, and, like, maybe we're going for different strategies and stuff, but, like, I had to rewatch, like, certain portions of games and realize, like, where things went wrong for certain players and stuff. It's been very interesting, so, yeah.
You should write a book on this. All right. And then that takes us to the next one. This is, to me, in terms of one thing I completely did not understand when it was first presented, and that's how the actual top 32 bracket was basically separated. And maybe, Rinku, I'll get you to explain it as a participant on how this went, what we see in front of us, and it may be a little bit small for people on screen, but hopefully you can pause and zoom. It was divided into 8 groups of 4. How did you know who was selected into each group? Was it a random draw, or?
Yeah, well, I wish we did something physically, but it was just given to us randomly. So pretty much each pool had, so the 8 pools, there's 8 LCQ people, so they put one of them in each pool, and then it's just random who the other 3 were. We were just told it at some point when it was announced on stream. We found out at a very similar time as you. So I know that there's like a flow chart. It's honestly a little bit too much work for me. You just either win 2 or lose 2, and then it's done.
Okay.
That's it.
And if you lost your first game but won your second, what?
Well, then you have to play again to see if you win 2 or lose 2.
Okay, that's what it is. So you had 3. You played potentially up to 3.
You either 2-0, 0-2, 2-1, or 1-2. Yeah.
Interesting. And that bracket then made up the top 16 for day 2.
Yeah, and for the top 16, what they did was like a swapping type of thing. So if you 2-0, do you play against someone else who 2-1 in a different pod?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah. Right.
So and you were in group 4. So your opponents were Cheng, Elbor, and Kenton. Do you know where they were from? Can you give us a little bit of background in terms of these 3 players?
I feel bad because I'm going to get the exact country wrong, but Cheng is from, I believe it's Taiwan, or won the Taiwan qualifier.
Oh, awesome!
With Basira.
Nice.
Then Elbor won the LCQ with Tasia, and Kenton placed in the top 4 of the 4-person one that was really big in France. I think it was Lille. I might get the exact.
Yes, it was in Lille.
Yeah, Lille.
Yeah, so with Afanis pre-nerf.
This is funny to me. This is really interesting.
I think they lost the finals to Trace, if I recall correctly, in Lille. But yeah.
Yeah, I do believe so. And you know what? I'll verify it. If not, I'll put a note in a video once it gets released with any of these erratas, as we call them.
Oh no, I just think it's wildly hilarious that everybody had it so if we put all 4 players standing next to each other, you have you, Kojo, Sigismar, Traced, and then if you put all 4 of you together, there's at least one Bravos hero. The middle one is whatever the heck everybody wants to play, and then the last one is Traced.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm that's where it gets interesting to me that it honestly seems like most people were playing Traced as their worst deck.
No, not the worst. I think you have to play Traced given it's the strongest deck potential.
Sorry, that's not true. Yeah, not worst deck,
but it may not be your strength. This is my view. Is you just do that because everyone else is. You're kind of following suit in most cases.
That's what I thought people would do with Sigismar. I thought Sigismar is the deck to do it with, not Trace, because Trace has really tough sequencing in the early game. Like I played Trace very well from day 3 onward. I don't know how to mana. And when I say don't know, it's very small edges that screwed up or whatever. But I wasn't as confident about manaing, or okay, do I play this Frozen Delivery, but I have these 3 duds in my deck, or do I have to leave with this Keelan Elemental and then play the Frozen Delivery? What am I trying to do? Those were tough decisions.
So take us through here. So your first opponent was Cheng. And you've talked to me a little bit. So he was in Taiwan. You saw his 3 decks. Which one did you decide to remove, and why?
Yeah, I banned Basira because my plan. So when I tested Traced, I played 5 to 8 games or something against Runefolk on Basira, and I handily lost all of them. So I said, if I'm playing Trace, I will ban Basira. So that's like priority number one is like banning Basira. So it helps that Chang also won their qualifier with Basira, but yeah, I just like had to ban that because I have Trace. And then they banned my Sigismar.
They banned your Sigismar, of not your Kojo. That's a bad move.
Don't worry, that's gonna be a theme on the day.
All right.
So game one is a Trace mirror. It ends up taking like quite a bit of time, but I don't know if they were humble or being like honest like 100%, but they said that they were like newish to Trace, like they were much more confident with the other two. But just from seeing how the game played out, it's just very clear where I was messing up, where they weren't. Like their Grems were just always better than mine. They were like using it to threaten both expeditions in a way that like Hooked wouldn't be able to get around. They had like a Haven when I didn't, and I was just like, man, my like Sap Sniffer really stinks right now. So I like definitely like didn't mana correctly, didn't like play things right. And yeah, kind of just like lost pretty handily. But at least I got my first rep in the Trace mirror. Mm-hmm. Then game two, I have Trace against the Sigismar, and just like kind of like Trace is supposed to have a good Sigismar matchup, at least against traditional Sigismar. So I just remember them playing like, I don't know, some blue caps, and I just like lined up expeditions very well with like some Keelan Elementals and some Frankensteins. Like it was just like, it kind of just happened. Game three, we like approached time. I don't want to go completely into how the overtime rules work, but pretty much if time is called and you're in a day, you finish that day, play another day, and see who's closer. And then if you're the same length, you like arena. So there's more like finicky things. I don't want to go into it. But pretty much when time was called, the day we were on, I like then was like 3 advances ahead of them. So then
whoa.
So, yeah, like I literally just like I think I like 2-0'd like I 2-0'd 1-1 and then 2-1'd, and then it's just like, okay, like it doesn't matter if we play another day, and then I kind of just won.
Oh wow. So this is crazy. So you started off your tournament with a loss. Did that impact you mentally, or did you just water under a bridge?
I mean, I expect to lose with Trace, so I don't mind that much.
Yeah.
All right. So you won that one. Did you get to see Elbor and Kenton play? Were they sitting next to you, or
yeah? So they like had you on tables of 4 for your pod. Mm-hmm. So I believe Kenton and Elbor only played 1 game. It just lasted forever. I think it was at Sadi against Fen, and then I think Elbor won on tiebreaker rules or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay. And then you ended up playing Elbor in the second game of the group stages.
Yeah. So for the second match, I played against Elbor. So you can see their lineup here. So check 1, they don't have Basira, so I don't have to ban that. So check 2, did they win with the deck, or are they known for a deck? So I banned the Tasia because they qualified without the previous day. Mm-hmm. Game 1, so they banned my Sigismar.
Again, jeez.
Like I said, it's going to be a theme on the day. There's only 2 people in the tournament that ban Kojo. So I will also tell you as a spoiler, except for the finals, every Kojo game was 7 minutes or less.
Whoa!
And I like 5-0'd in like not the finals, and then lost the game 1 in the finals because I punted day 1 and 2. But anyhow, so yeah, it was wild.
We need to get a world record time for the fastest Kojo game.
Yeah,
and see if it's you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'll take it. But so anyhow, that's game wild. 1, I'm playing Kojo against Atsadi. We end up in a spot where he like missed a trigger to like untap mana. He had 3 enhanced prototype uniques. Mm-hmm. So he like missed like untapping his mana. To be fair, even if he didn't, I think I was like 90 or 95% to win, because I had both mana eruptions in my hand and I was literally just pressing both sides every turn. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I would have won anyways, but that was obviously like a difficult point. So I win there. Then I play Trace against Atsadi. Historically, or like what the numbers would tell you, is that Atsadi has a really good Trace matchup. And I just got destroyed by like, I actually misplayed here. I like pushed through an advance on an enhanced prototype using a Grems, but then that allowed him to, on 9 mana, play Milk and then play the Hunger. But if I just didn't push so hard, if he played Milk, then I could have played the Grems, and then I could have, after the Hunger single, advanced the other side, and it like would have led to a better net scenario. I just like brain farted or something.
You just rushed it just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still would have lost, but it would have lasted a little bit longer. So the last game was a Trace Mirror. So I know.
You gotta stop doing this to yourself.
Well, that's why I said I should have played Hostage. Literally against all three of these decks, they're all good Hostage matchups.
Yeah.
And Hostage is like, it's just a flow chart. Like, I really can't screw it up.
You just have to be quick. And the thing is, if you go to time, like, that's the hard part, because you got to advance.
Well, I would always have to play Hostage as my first deck because of how the time rules work. I can never play as my second deck. But yeah, so like... But yeah, I also don't want to play Hostage because I like really hate urging my opponents to play faster. I want people to take their time. I want them to play their best and for me to beat them. Like, I want to beat people at their best. Like, I don't want to like encourage people to play really quickly and then I win because they like played something on the wrong side. Like, I don't like that. Wait.
Hey, take it easy.
Oh wait, that's right. No, sorry, easy. My bad.
We're on the second match.
We gotta go.
So yeah, I played this Trace Mirror. This opening hand really sticks out to me. So I draw my 6. It is Frankenstein, Haven, Armor Jammer, Reef, Restocking Station. So it's 2 Frankenstein, 4 landmarks.
Jeez.
So I play the Haven, don't hit a 1-drop. And luckily, he only 1-0s me. Then we get into a spot where I set up a cool, like, Frankenstein with Bug Out Bag to be able to, like, 2-1 him on a later day.
Yeah.
So now we're even, and then we get to a spot. I forget if he has 1 or 2 Frankensteins left in his deck, but he has no cards, no more resupply, only a Trace activation. If it hits Frankenstein, I lose. If it doesn't, I win, and then hits Frankenstein. So I lose. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nice. Now, since you didn't get to play against Kenton, but you played against Cheng and Elbow, how was the relationship as...
Well, I play Kenton later.
Oh, yes. Not yet. Not yet,
I'm 1-1 now. Yeah. But I can still answer your question, or do you want to wait until after Kenton?
Yeah, so you ended up you lost this, so you were in the losing bracket going forward to the next round.
Yeah.
Okay, no, go ahead. Let's talk about Kenton, because I'm going to ask you about the players themselves.
Yeah, so what happens is during this portion, we're like in an upstairs isolated area, and then for the rest of the tournament, we're like on the floor in the back or in the feature match area. So they actually move us before this like tiebreaker match, or like before this 1-1 match. So if you 2-0'd, you were already through. If you were 0-2, you were already out. And they had food trucks outside, so they actually paused anyone from getting food trucks and said only Worlds competitors can get food, and Val. So that was great. Val was actually the only spectator that wasn't a Worlds competitor that was up there, which was kind of wild. I thought more people would bring their like significant others or whatnot, but obviously I have the best one. So
obviously
my serialized, not serialized, but my 1-of-1 unique. But yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Anyhow, so I go to get food truck stuff, and Kenton walks up to me, and he says, like, I really love watching you play Kojo. You are a fantastic Kojo player. You are not playing Kojo in our match, and your Trace uniques seem a little
humbling.
Which like is true. Like I do think I probably had one of the lower tier like Trace uniques, but yeah, at least I was able to mentally prepare myself for not playing Kojo for once. So I knew it was going to be a hard match. It was really fun, very cordial. I actually, honestly, my match against Kenton was probably one of my favorites in general. I think I could like list the top 3, but like it was a really good match. Pace of play was fantastic. We both like, in general, I think in Altered there's a small pace of play problem. Like people take forever to like advance, untap, move the counter. We were like on it. Like we finished our first game. Our first game was like, I think like 6 or 7 days, and I think we finished in like 10 minutes or something. Like it was actually fantastic.
Nice. That's what you want to see.
Who did you ban?
Right. So his decks were, his Fen has 2 Studious Disciples that are Incasters. And then one of them is like an Arrow Return a Spell, a 3rd Studious Disciple. His Trace has like 2 good Anansis that both trigger both reserves and cost cheaper than mine. and he has a unique Ysmir Stargazer that I'll get into later, but it gives fleeting to things. And the Basira is he got 2 unique Lyran Hydras that go with Nuit, so there were Nuit combos. I saw against Chang at some point, he just like quad advanced, and was just like, yeah, this is silly. So obviously I have to ban Basira for 2 reasons. It's clearly his broken deck, and also it's Basira. So game 1 is Fen against my Trace. I figure I need any opportunity to get this Trace a win. He bans my Kojo. So game 1, you could say it's close based on how the Tumult looked. It really wasn't close. It's one of those things where if they play like 2 Ink Casters, they can just loop enough things that like it looks like it's close, but really they have like +3 cards on you because they haven't had to spend any resources to just like commit to the board every turn. So I lose that one like pretty soundedly. So I'm playing a Trace Mirror. I'm just like, man, am I gonna just like lose this event by losing literally every Trace Mirror? But I actually used a lot of the lessons from my previous rounds to actually help me here. For instance, in my opening hand, I chose to keep Haven over Restocking Station because I realized that the relative sizing might actually matter more than just playing Frankenstein every turn. Like, if you're like using hero power and stuff, like the sizing matters so much because then it forces hooks and forces like situations where you can hook and still be blocking them and stuff like that. So that was like a big level up moment. If I could play again, like I remember Nico told me to cut the 3rd Haven for 2nd Armor Jammer, and I trusted him for the event. And after playing the event, I think I would still have the Haven, but maybe I just played the deck slightly differently.
Yeah, that's fair.
But luckily, he doesn't draw any of his uniques, or I think he might have drawn the Stargazer, but like he didn't draw any of his Anansi style uniques. I forget if I drew any of mine, but I won pretty soundedly just by like outstatting and like getting a 2-1 early and keeping the advantage.
Yeah, and that was your first traced win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the loser bracket?
So then last is Sigismar against his Trace. So I keep an opening hand that has Ordis Trooper, Soar, and something else. I think it was another one. I think it was double Trooper Soar, if I recall correctly. And he ends up opening up with his Ysmir Stargazer. So now I'll describe it. It's 2-1 for a 1/0/1. Arrow, put a card from your hand to reserve, it gets a boost. So it's like a 2/1/2 pretty much. And then at dusk, you can discard a card from your reserve and you give something fleeting. So what I ended up needing to do on this like opener is I had to play Ordis Trooper on the other side. Then I had to double Soar to get a 2-1, I think, or a 2-0. I forget which one it was. But then he gave fleeting to my Trooper. So I'm like already like super down on cards.
Yeah.
Then next turn he ends up playing Restocking Station. So now he has Restocking Station Stargazer to just like give fleeting every turn. I was in another spot where like I forgot. I think I play either a Legator or Ordis Attorney and it gets fleeting. Like it gets an advance and fleets. Yeah. So I think I'm like still ahead 1 expedition at this point. So then I have Ordis Attorney in my hand. I'm pretty sure I played Ordis Attorney and gave it fleeting. So then I have 4 mana, right? And I draw my 2 cards. And it is Gargoyle Teamwork Training. And I'm just like, oh my god. Like, if he plays... I'm first player, so if you play Stargazer first, I have to like have something in play in Teamwork Training and all that stuff. But the problem is if he plays it first, then I could Teamwork Training it. Or if he plays it second, whatever. Like I couldn't let him like Restocking Station it.
Yeah.
So like I know I have to lead with the character and hope to have Teamwork Training, but there is also a weird line where he can like have Frozen Delivery and play things from reserve. In which case I need to play 2 characters. So I make the decision to not mana. I don't play my 5th mana. Because I'm like, I just don't know which of these 2 I need to play this turn. So then I lead on, I think it ends up being the Gargoyle because of how the terrains are lined up, that the Ysmir Stargazer wouldn't be able to block a mountain on that side. So my token having the Send, even if you place a Stargazer, I have a mountain stat on mine. So like with the Send, I would still advance. So I play the Gargoyle. He plays the Stargazer. I Teamwork Training it. And then he plays like something on the Gargoyle side to get an advance. So like, I think it ends up being a 1/1 or something like that. So now I'm like, I have almost no resources. He has like a few cards in his hand because he's like played like landmarks. He has like a Haven and stuff. And so I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm just like so
This
behind
is
on
it.
cards. And then I just like put down my 2 cards. So usually when I draw, I put down the 2 cards, then I show I'm drawing 1 card at a time from those 2 cards. And I just say to myself, like, if I'm gonna like make out of groups, and all I wanted on this day was to make out of groups. Saying you finish in the top half feels way better than saying you finish in the bottom half.
That's
It's
true.
just like, if I'm gonna make it out of groups, this will be Chili Kokobo 1 drop. Like in that order, I say it in my head, and then I draw the first card, Chili Kokoba. I'm like, no way. And then I draw the next card,
It's
and
an
it
ugly
is
duckling.
Ugly Duckling.
Yeah.
Heck
And I'm
yeah.
like, that is normally Jack Frost. Like, I am destroying this. Like, this is great. So I just like play both. He ends up like flooding his landmarks with an armored jammer, and then he like removes the Kokobo with the armored jammer. So I only get to draw 2 once. But then I just kind of like double ascend both sides for the rest of the game and win. So
That's wild.
that was like my first stroke of luck. That was like, wow, things are going pretty well. Like that was nice.
Now, did the next? So we finished this round. We can actually move to as you're talking about the players though. Were most people pretty cordial, at least in this group, or it seems like there was a lot of appreciation of each other's gameplay and style as well?
Yeah. So Chang, I think, just like given some small like maybe some small like first language barriers, like wasn't as chatty, but like definitely like when we like lined up, we like talked a lot, or like it was very good. Elbor, it was good overall. There was like some small like from missing like the untap, just like some small like more serious feelings at times, but by the end of the match was really open and was very nice and stuff like that. And my match with Kenton was actually fantastic. Like I like the pace of play. We like would banter a little and stuff. It was like the way I like playing games was the way I got to play with Kenton. Like
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it felt good to play.
Hopefully you guys are still able to connect with each other. I think there's going to be that special bond with all those that made it to Worlds that played together, especially for the inaugural one. So that takes us to the top 16. Was this done in the first day or the second day?
First day.
Okay.
They want to get a clear top 8 by the end of the day, but we actually ended up being 1 round short in the losers bracket to be able to formally have a top 8.
Yeah, and Nick, if you could just go back 1 second on the top 16. So what ended up happening is everyone that the top 2 of each of the brackets made it into the top 16, and everyone played 1 round there, and then the losers from this first round started the loser bracket in the next round. I believe that's how it works. So you played against Banish. Banish became one of the players in the loser bracket in that first round. So you can see how it goes, and then as you lost a round, you went into the loser bracket the next round to get you to the
for
top
those
8.
of you who haven't done double elimination before, it sounds easy from the higher levels, like, oh, it's double elimination. The bracket kind of doesn't make sense, but let me break it down in a different way. If you get a win in the winner's bracket, it's like winning twice in the loser's bracket. That's something that's very unclear. The pace of the loser's bracket goes half the speed of the winner's bracket. So Vittorio, spoiler, makes the finals. He lost his top 16 match and literally had to play twice as many matches as I did because I didn't lose.
Yeah, because you're playing the round that you're paired against and the next drop down to go into the next one. It's really crazy.
Someone that has been in losers and a drop down.
Yeah.
Whereas in winners, you just keep on playing against the next person that won.
Okay. Yeah, I think this was so complicated for me that never really seen this level of tournament. I'm like, how does it all work? The other thing is, it wasn't like if you're actually one on one, you become one on the other. I think if you had played someone before, you couldn't play them again in some of these rounds it just felt really weird because it wasn't ranked the way that I thought it would be ranked.
Right. Well, so the only thing they did was they made sure that like cross pod happened here. So once again, a 2-0 played against a 2-1. But the way the double elimination bracket was you could play against someone that you played against like two rounds later.
Okay.
But yeah, like I have watched some like Melee, so I was more familiar with double elimination brackets. I also in Magic helped run an event once where we had to use a Swiss software to try to simulate double elimination, and I realized we had to give buys every other round. That's how I realized that people play twice as much.
Yeah. So for you, that was that a good thing or a bad thing for you being in the winners bracket? We're going to talk about it later. Like having that rest, I think, is fantastic.
You play half the matches and you can lose twice. Like it's just the best.
Gold,
it's
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Like when I made top 16, I'm like, oh my god, I can lose again, and I don't do a lot of that. This is gonna be good.
I can lose one more.
You could lose two more and then move and then go from the losers bracket as Vittoria did. All right, let's move to the next slide here. So your first opponent was Banish. They had a Chardy. It's basically the same gameplay as we saw earlier with one of your other opponents. What was Banish known for, and what did you ban?
Yeah, so Banish lost the finals to Trickster in the APAC or Asia region online WCQ, and they were playing Tasia there. And then I also watched them a little bit on Board Game Arena. Not everyone in the tournament played on their main account, but Banish, Vittorio, a few people, Agaman, were all playing on their main account, so I obviously just watched their replays a lot. And I saw that they were still playing a bunch of Tasia, despite like being known for playing Tasia. So easy ban Tasia. So yeah, I have to play against the other two. So I start with a Trace Mirror, but I have learned so much.
You've learned your lesson.
But what ends up happening is I end up punting like day 7 or something, because what ends up happening is I have 2 Havens and I have Traceability, and I like play Sap Sniffer from reserve. And then I thought with very high certainty that I was going to use Traceability and like play another character that I can then Haven. And somehow just ended up in this weird spot where I had to like Airship Reef and then like hooked or something.
Oh.
So I like ended up losing exactly because I didn't put the second boost on my character. Well, we end up going to an arena and then I end up losing, but I would have just won if I put the extra boost on. So that felt terrible. I had a really good start, and it felt like I like squandered it somewhere. But from inexperience, I don't even know where I screwed up. I just know I must have. So yet another Trace Mirror down. At least I can lose another match. So then I play against his Etsadi. I actually choose to switch to Kojo. And the reason why, even though it probably would have been better for me to play Trace and choose who goes first, I actually chose to switch to Kojo because I just wanted to feel more confidence. Okay. Like I just wanted to win more at the world stage. That was literally the decision. It wasn't, oh, I think I'm actually statistically better if I play this first or this first. I just wanted more confidence.
Yeah, and in this, I'm assuming then he banned your Sigismar again. So 3 Sigismar bans and one... one... only the single Kojo ban so far.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I could just spoil it, like the only 2 players that banned Kojo, but...
We'll get to it. We'll get
to it.
Okay, so yeah, he banned Sigismar. So yeah, I switched to Kojo, literally win in, I think, like 5 to 6 minutes. Like, I just, like, double a bunch of times. He, like, played a candy bar. I Mana Eruption. He played single Sakurabaru. I, like, 2-0 that. And then he, like, plays the Hunger. Then I, like, played another Mana Eruption 2-0 or something. Like, it was just, like, it was just super easy. So then
With
game
such
3,
confidence right there.
Yeah, just super easy.
I mean... Yeah.
This is why he's the best.
If you're not going to ban Kojo, like
yeah. If you're not going to ban Kojo, I'll make you suffer.
Well, like whenever the reveals of the bans like showed that they were banning Sigismar, not Kojo, I literally just thought to myself, I just need one win with Trace. Like, I didn't even like worry about Kojo. I just had faith that like I would do it. So now we have a Etsadi against Trace, as we established against Elbor. Not a good matchup for Trace. Mm-hmm. My opening hand has things like Frozen Delivery and Haven, like all these good setup cards. But I end up keeping Axiom Salvager, Paju. Game 1, turn 1, I get a 2-1 advance. And then day 2, I literally just play like Salvager, Paju again. And the next day I play like Paju, like 2 more things. And I end up just bomb rushing to the point that he like played a Hunger. I like play one on the other side and like play some landmarks to the point that his next play has to be Hunger again with a Rage. But then I have so much firepower on one side that I literally get the last advance through the Hunger plus Rage.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
So he like double hungered me and I still won like advancing through the Hunger.
Jeez, well done.
That's wild.
Nice.
Yeah, that felt very good.
And to be fair, that's not exactly like the craziest, because like Fleeting Hunger, yes, it has gigantic, but it's only 3 stats.
Well,
no, he played another Hunger that removed all his
Hunger
stats.
from
second. Oh,
yeah.
So that
Never
and that,
mind.
that
he had a
That's
999.
that Hunger would have
Yeah,
at
he had
least
a
been
999,
6.
and then I like
999.
barely had 10 or something.
Hold on,
yeah.
You had to recover from 9.
Never mind.
But because they had
Screw
to play
that.
and that's the only 2 cards they could play. Therefore, it allowed you to do something. For
yeah, I think I like Bug Out Bag like traced into a like Dr. Frankenstein, and then like
nice,
like just literally had like just enough to like have one above in one stat region.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot crazier. I was like, oh well, that's not too hard. But then
no, it's double Hunger from hand with Rage on the second one.
Yeah, no, screw that.
So where I did get lucky was in the 2 games he only played 1 ramp card, but like that's what happens when you play at Sadi. Like you have to draw it's your A plus B deck. If you don't draw the A, your B is kind of slow. Like
I agree.
Wow, that's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then
I was so happy that I cut the second Reef for the second Paju. I definitely would have lost if I didn't have the second Paju.
So we now have to talk to Frenico Rico to go, hey buddy, maybe we need to switch it up a little bit. Now I can teach you a little bit. Which, like, I know we're not talking about Frenico, but like, I want to see some more of his Trace games back when he was loving Traced. Yeah. No, sorry, not Traced. I want to see him with
Basira?
Tasia. Because that was his first love. Like he was known for Tasia, and I've never seen him play Tasia.
He would have played that at Worlds.
Yeah.
He actually lost to Luigi in his top 4.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he top 4'd with Basira, lost to Luigi.
Yeah.
What happened was that, like, it's closed deck list, it's game 3. And Frenico, I think, claims he didn't see all of his uniques. But what happened was that, I'll go really quickly because I know in the interest of time. But for Nico's, like, there are no commons and rares I can lose to here. And, like, Luigi has 1 card in hand. He ends up scouting a Merlin. The Merlin has discard a character. And then also has, like, the support ability to arrow. He arrowed the Airless Ship Reef to get a 2-0.
Oh, good on. That's smart play against him, but tough for Nico.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to the next round. Now we're down to the top 8 element of it from your perspective.
Well, it's like top 8 winners, which is slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But from your end, you're playing Nadir. The first time you're potentially up against Afanis, someone was brave enough to bring Afanis after the ban. And also, like, this is not your conventional 3 cards to choose from. So what were you looking at and what did you see against Nadir?
Yeah, I mean, step 1, do they have Basira? So, Basira. I know that they're known for Afanis. I actually played them on ladder. I played Sigismar against their Afanis, and it was actually very close. I knew that they were like heavy brainwash. Here they were playing 2 brainwashes, I think. And then their Fen was like pretty traditional, except they had like some busted uniques. Like they had one that was like an Esmeralda. I'm going to get it wrong, but it's like arrow resupply and also get 1 boost for both players reserve and also return a card from reserve. It was like too many abilities, like Esmeralda. Yeah.
The novel.
Yeah, I probably got one of them wrong, but it was definitely 3 ability Esmeralda. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. I have to ban this Basira. And he just like comments. He's like, man, I beat Vittorio last round, and he had your same exact lineup. And I banned the Basira. And Basira, he's like, yeah, Vittorio did the same thing. And I just like say to him like very calmly, and I'm like, yeah, but didn't Vittorio lose last round?
Oh.
So you know, very cordial. Nadir, very nice. He gave me like tons of recommendations for French stuff. We like talked a bunch. Very, very nice to talk to. Someone I've definitely like looked up to from like watching events and stuff. I know he like took a break when I like started playing, so it's like really cool to like hear his story and stuff.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah. So he ends up banning Sigismar. He's like the only player that knew I was known for Kojo, but had to ban Sigismar because like the Sigismar-Afanis matchup's just not particularly good for Afanis. Especially post-nerf. Adjustment. So I end up playing in the first game Trace against his Afanis. So finally, not a Trace mirror. Actually, I think... Wait, now I have to think real quick. Yeah, I won every game with Trace that wasn't against Trace. And I went 1 in a lot, like 1 in 3 or 4 again in the Trace mirror.
Yeah.
So I actually won every Trace game that was. So I know how to play against not
That's
itself.
wow.
So.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Non-mirrors.
So
and that's complete opposite to what you love. You're like, if I will never play a deck that cannot beat its mirror.
Yeah, I still feel that way. But so what happens against Aphanis? So I have literally the best opening hand I've ever seen in this game, and I really needed it because I'm just like at this point I'm just like, whatever happens with Trace, I'm always gonna lead it. I just like have to buy a win, and just my other deck will win. Like it'll be fine. So my opening hand is the Martingale Unique, which is a 2/1 arrow. Put a card from your hand to reserve. If it's a permanent, your next permanent costs 1 less. And from hand, put a card from hand to reserve, and then you resupply. So I have this.
3 cards.
I have this Martingale. Well, so I have this Martingale. I have Axiom Salvager, and I have Restocking Station. He goes first, plays Conjuring Seal. I play Martingale, put both of these into reserve. I resupply into a Paju. Paju make the token. Play the Restocking Station for 0 because my next permanent costs 1 less. Play the Axiom Salvager, hit an Axiom Salvager. So then I play the Axiom Salvager, and then I use the Restocking Station to remove. So I have a Trace on 3 counters, 2 Axiom Salvagers in the reserve. I actually get rid of the Martingale, and I have a Restocking Station on 1 and an Aerolith.
Jeez, you basically got 2 days in one.
Yeah, it was actually just wild. And then the other like funny like credits to Nadir for like being a really good sport about this. But what was funny was he ends up playing like a Hua Mulan that can like return spells every turn, and he ends up returning the Ysmir Signet. And I'm in a spot where I'm like 95% sure Ysmir Signet hits hand cost 2 or less. So what ends up happening is I just ask, can I see your Ysmir Signet? And he's like, I don't think I have to. And I'm like, okay, let me just call a judge. So I ask the judge, hey, am I allowed to know what the common Ysmir Signet does? And they say no. And I'm just like, well, he like returned it from the Hua Mulan last turn. Like, can I just see it? And they're like, no, you had your opportunity when it was going to be returned. Now it's hidden information again. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And like I said, I'm 95% sure. And like, literally just to verify this. And if he gave it to me, I'll be like, okay, yeah, just wanted to make sure it's 2 or less. But since no one's giving me anything, I'm not going to say anything. So what ends up happening is I activate Trace. I put Amelia Earhart. I use Haven with Amelia Earhart. And then he ends up just playing Ysmir Signet, saying like, send that to the reserve. I'm like, so you're sending something to reserve? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, this costs 3 and that says 2. So then he just binned his Spindle Harvester.
Because he had to do it to himself. Once it's
I
played...
do think that if he like called a judge, he might have been able to switch to draw a card or something. But he just like being a very good sport and being like, well, my intention was to play it. I played it. Like I am bidding.
Then you know what? That's the right way. Good on Nadir for doing that. Because
one of the things I think fantastic sportsman. Like that is wonderful.
Yeah. If your intention, the moment you make the action to do something, you can't change your mind. I know we allowed in some of our local play, but in any competitive, like I'm sorry, man. The moment you let go of your card, you release your card, you've got to play it. You can't take it back. But
it's kind of like chess.
That destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them.
To be honest, it didn't matter. Like it mattered for me if it could have hit it. But since I was like 95% sure it wouldn't, like the Spindle Harvester wouldn't change anything. I was ahead 4 expeditions. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
All right.
But like literally right afterwards, I'm telling you, I just want to see the Ysmir Signet just to make sure I had to play Amelia Earhart. Like I would have told you this. And he's like, how am I supposed to know that? And I'm like, hey, I don't know. The card's in your hand. So it was like some funny banter, and he took it very well. Like very good sport.
Nice.
So I get the win against Aphanis. Then I play Kojo. I win in about 7 minutes. But the cool part here, though, was I knew that he plays 2 Brainwash, and that's kind of like the haymaker in the matchup. So every time he was going to be first player, my reserve either had nothing or things that didn't cost 2. Like I had an Ishimbushi once or something, and he didn't want to brainwash that. And then when it would go into my turn, I would make sure that there's just one, like a Haven Saringer or something. That way I play it right away. Then we get to a spot where I actually lead off on my turn with a Haven Saringer. so he's like trying to set up the expeditions. That way he gets forest for when he brainwashes it and puts a counter on it. And then I end my turn by playing rage on it. And he's just like, you are just really good. And then just like,
yeah.
And then, yeah. So like he just ends the game and just shows me that he had like brainwashed the whole time and could never play it on anything other than an Ishinbushi. So that felt really good.
Nice.
Wild.
Yeah.
And you went 2-0 against Nidium.
Yeah.
So where does that take us now? So you're basically in top 8. And we're seeing here...
So I'm specifically in winner's top 4, though,
winner's
which is slightly different.
Yes.
But...
So winner's top 4, and then you're going to have the top 4 that are going to come from the bottom side. And you can see here Sigismar taking the lead in terms of more than that, and you're seeing basically 25% of the decks.
Yeah.
This is starting to look more like normal. I'm still surprised at how many Fen and Crowbars are still in here, and of course the Aurak and Kibble in there. But there's 2 decks that have full representation, two factions that have full representation at this time, and that is your Bravos as well as your Lyra. No representation in top 8 at all from Izmir, which makes you wonder, had the adjustment to Afanas taken place, how different this would have been. In my mind, it would be a very different setup for the game as all. All right, let's take it through as we go through your top 8. This is the top 8 that we've got, also with Caleb, who is in this. He was not top 8, right?
No, but he was casting right there. That's his table.
He might as well have been.
Yeah. So who are the two casters here? You had Caleb, and who's the person on the left that I don't know?
I honestly forget their name.
I'm
so
feel
sorry.
Bad, though. I feel awful. But the French cast, I don't speak French, so apologies on that. But it seemed like everyone was doing great, and that takes you to play against basically Javi Navarro, a Spaniard who had come in from the Last Chance qualifier. Take us through where this was going for you. So he's known for his, I believe, his Aurak build, right? Coming in from the Aurak.
He's actually, Fernico told me he was known for playing Sigismar, actually.
And I thought he used Aurak in the LCQ.
But but online in general, he was known for playing Sigismar.
I should talk to him.
I actually played him in the WCQ Trickster one, and Banish also qualified. I played Javi round 1. I was playing Basir against the Sigismar. So I know Sigismar in general. So pretty much, well, the night before, I'm just chilling, get dinner with everyone and stuff like that, and I'm just like, okay, I am in winner's top 4. At worst, I come in top
4.
Top 6?
Okay.
Top 4? I always forget how it works. No, I think it's top 6.
Okay.
Because when you whatever.
I have no idea. Don't ask me.
Yeah. It's fine. If I lose here, I play against someone else that won the previous round. I think it's 6, but it's fine. It doesn't matter that much. It's really weird.
It doesn't matter.
But anyhow, right. Well, so I'm just okay, I just want to make it in the top half. I could not have a better result. I feel good about going tomorrow. If I go lose, I go home proud. I will be very proud if I lose twice tomorrow. So this is all upside. And you can see that in these environments where everything's all upside, I'm pretty good at seizing the opportunity. But so before going to bed, Fernico sends me a message that says, because Fernico's also from Spain. And he's friends with some of the hat people. And he's like, yeah, talk to Javi. He said he's banning your Kojo, not even close. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
So both times they told you ahead of time. Before. Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I look at his list and I'm like, Aurak Resupply, I kind of can't beat that. And then Sigismar, I think I could beat, and I'm hoping to just prey on the Sigismar. That's my strategy. Because the Tasia had Easy Lopez's list, and I'm not beating Easy Lopez online or through Javi. The uniques are busted. It's incredibly well tuned. So going into the match, I'm like, well, Aurak can get unlucky, but Tasia I just can't beat. So I end up banning the Tasia. He bans my Kojo, man of his word. So game 1, we play his Aurak against my Trace. I need to get any win I can with this Trace. So pretty much we start off where I get an expedition leader too, and he kind of just does the Lyra thing, and the holes don't line up in his cards. We end up in a spot where I'm 1 expedition away from winning, so I'm adjacent. And everyone thinks I top decked it, and I did, but at the very beginning of the turn, and I'm like, Man, I think this is just a line where I'm just gonna have to like luck into a Gibble or do something. I keep my single reef in my opening hand, and I end up like playing it, and I like Frankensteined it once, and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna have to like randomly like resupply into a Gibble if I'm gonna win this game. So what ends up happening is we're like fighting back and forward mostly on this one expedition that I'm trying to like poke through a 0 stat. I think it's mountain. And what ends up happening is I have 1 mana left, and I just have this frozen delivery. I already used Trace, no cards in hand. I use the frozen delivery, and I just pause with the top card. I'm like, today's my day. This is gonna be a Gibble. And I flip it over, and it's Gibble, and he's like, okay. Well, so it was already 1 in whatever to hit the Gibble. Fine. He has a Twinkle Twinkle, and he has a Ouroboros Trickster. He can play the Trickster, and if he high rolls, he can put to sleep, and he'll survive the day.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls the low half, so it gets 1 counter, but now he also has double resupply. His resupplies cannot hit any 1-drops and cannot hit any cost reducers. It's 2 cards that cost 2 from reserve. And then he plays a basis from his hand, which I also need to not hit a cost reducer and to not hit another 1-drop. And it like, I think it hits a Twinkle Twinkle, which ends up being fine enough or something, and end up winning by exactly 1 stat point. And I'm just like, all right.
Any win with Trace.
I know, and the other thing is, you should have just gone out and got the lotto right now. Like you're riding that wave for sure.
Yeah, it was wild. So then game 2, I have to play Sigismar against Orok, which is a terrible matchup. I think I concede early in this one. I think he was like 3 expeditions away from winning, but he already had like 2 resupply uniques or all 3 or something with an anchor. And I was just like, yeah, like we just need more time. In game 3, I think my build is pretty good in the mirror, besides having Chili Kokoba, but like in general, like all the Ascend is like pretty good at pushing through. Like, okay, fine, like you have Legate, I'll duck it. Like, fine, you're up half a card. I'm up an expedition. Like,
yeah, right.
The stats kind of line up pretty well. He ends up drawing both of his like arrow draw card uniques, but then I end up drawing Chili Kokoba, which like makes up for all of it. But on the way back, when I play from reserve, he ends up getting 4 characters in play and playing teamwork training. So I only got to do it once, and then we end up in a spot where we end up in the tiebreaker situation. But I was able to set it up that like his Sandman like didn't line up well, which is actually very hard to do. And I planned like a day earlier to make sure that the Sandman's stats I could like poke through on both sides. So that was cool. It was, I think if I were to take a snapshot of the tournament, I think Javi was the favorite to win the tournament at that point. Okay. Like before we played, like at the start of the day, I think he was the favorite to win.
Yeah, I got to listen to him talk in the Spanish podcast with Pascolo. In terms of his,
I didn't know he did that.
So
that's great.
Just how he had performed. Super nice guy. They're just so excited for the entire what happened. Like because he didn't qualify the way that everyone else had from a world championship, but absolutely he's one of the few people that had traveled across the continent in Europe to try to qualify, and he got it at the very last moment. So congratulations to him and how he played. But all right, that takes us then to your round of basically the winner's bracket final before the grand finale. You're playing against Luigi. Luigi, first time for you to see Nevenka in play, but let's see what you decided.
Yeah, so he bans, I don't know this during the ban stage, but he bans my Sigismar. Yeah, and then so I end up banning his Tasia. The build's actually very similar to Easy Lopez's list, with very similar uniques. The Nevenka has a bunch of like good Daedalus loop uniques, but all of his uniques I think need a landmark, and he was playing 3 Parliament rares. And then his Trace is the same one that beat for Nico, so it has like 2 Merlins that like discard things and stuff like that. Other than the Tasia, honestly, I wasn't that afraid of this lineup. I felt like there's some sputtering and things that can happen that like wouldn't line up for their deck very well. So, like, in the whole tournament, I thought my opponent's lineup was better than mine, except for round 1, the finals, and probably this match. This match was close because I didn't know which way the Daedalus loop things would go. And I obviously got very lucky in this match. But, yeah, my first round and final round, I actually wasn't afraid. But every other round I was.
Nice.
So, yeah, something to be said about the mirror, I guess. So what happens? All my matches from here on out, from Javi onward, were all on camera.
Yep.
But in game 1, I literally punt the first 2 to 3 days of Trace against Nevenka, like to the point like I think if I showed him my hand and told him you had to make plays for me, I think I made all of those plays. Like that's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I took like an aggressive line where I tried playing the Muna Druid that like arrow, put something to reserve, and I tried to get advanced, and I think he like 2-1s me or something. Then I end up like trying to slow play. I think I play like a restocking. I play some sort of landmark or something. Or I played something not from my reserve as my first card. No. He ends up as first player. He plays Snowball Commando on my Muna Druid. I play something from hand. Then he Snowball Commandos my other card.
Oh.
So I'm going into day 3 with no counters on my Trace, and I have to discard like to like the reserve. But then there ends up being a spot where Frankenstein with Bug Out Bag gets me like an advance back. So then we're at like parity. But then he, at some point in this game, needs to literally just not roll, I think, Anchor. I think he's even fine with a 1. I forget if that's game 1 or game 2. But he needs to not roll Anchor. And then he rolls Anchor. And then I like am able to get a 2-1 where every other situation would be a 1-1. And then I just like push that advantage and win. I'm like, wow, I played terribly that game, but I got very lucky on some Nevenka rolls. Game 2, I play Kojo, and I end up just like playing this Ortis Spy unique and taking 4 cards with it, and it wasn't very interesting. So that was cool.
That was a quick one, right? The other quick one. So on our side, this is me. I'm a church, and I'm asking everyone at AQZ and Nick, just send me updates. I just want to hear updates. I'm in the middle of church, listening to my little girls sing, and I'm on my watch getting all these updates. Rinku's up, Rinku's down. This is really, really fun. All right.
Yeah,
then,
really good.
Wait, so the one that was most flattering, that is flattering, sorry. But the one that was like the most flattering to me was, do you know what Belteshazzar did?
No, he was wedding, right? Or no? Go ahead.
Belteshazzar, like in the States, watching, literally asked what time does coverage start, determined it was 4 a.m. local time, and like set an alarm for 4 a.m. local time and was watching it all as it was happening.
I know, it's so cool.
And
that's cool.
That's
that is
good
like
friend.
support,
like good friend. Good
like
follower.
I'll be honest, if anyone else from AQZ was in Worlds, I don't think I'm waking up at 4 a.m. for them. Like,
what? I think you should now. It's now part of what we do. We get up to watch the game. I had to as well.
He would inspire me to do so, but a priori, I would not do it. No?
All right, that then does take us. So we're basically in the final. One thing in the final that I wasn't aware of until afterwards is because you had come from the winner's bracket, you get a free win and you get to choose who that win was with. And we move from a best, you have to win with 2 heroes to basically win with 3.
Yeah.
Who did you choose the win to be? Let me guess.
Well, so after I beat Luigi, my first thought was, I think I'm very close to a lock to win the Kojo Fashion Champion. Like, that was my first thought. Not I locked up the finals. Because his lineup didn't have Bravos, and then I would like have to lose the other Bravos player and have them like not have chosen Bravos as their top. So you like selected your 3 heroes in an order, and then if you get your highest one remaining for faction champ. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wait, I might be a lock for the Kojo. That's great. Everyone's like, you made the finals. I'm like, no, but like I might
be locked for
the Kojo. So then when I beat Luigi, I literally like took my like trace deck and just like threw it in the bag, and I'm like, I won't be needing this.
I don't need you. I'm not gonna.
But to be fair, I actually didn't fully understand how the finals worked. I thought I started with the free win, but didn't have to validate. But it turns out I have to choose up front what deck I'm validating, and then we start playing. So
now,
I
know we're like right down to the wire. I want you to know I was in church watching your matches, and I told my wife before, I was like, I can't believe for the first time in my entire life I'm gonna be one of those guys watching on their phone a match of any kind, just be like, I need everybody to shut up for a minute. And we were outside in the foyer when you won, and I was actually like just like we did it. And Sophie, she's like, I think you should go that way. We're like, no, but there was nobody in the hallway. I was like, "Go, let's go, Rinku!" And she's like, "I don't get it, but I'm very happy for you."
Yeah, Chili, you must have still been in church too,
I was.
right?
I was still at church.
Yeah, I was texting him updates the whole time. I was like, "This is it. Rinku's up."
Nick and Dan were just fantastic at giving me updates. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, so I'll run through the match and then we can talk about post-match stuff afterwards. So I validate Trace. I'm like, all right, like, thank goodness, like, I can now actually try to win this event. So he ends up leading on Sigismar, and I lead on Kojo, mostly because I actually thought to do it the other way around, but I just thought that, like, I really wanted to, I guess, like, start off on the right foot type of thing. Because at this point, I actually haven't been playing for like 3 to 4 hours, which really screwed me up. Like, you might argue that like Vittorio, like coming up from losers, had to play a lot more, but I was like not warmed up anymore. I think I finished against Luigi at like 1 or 2 like local time, and I think I played against Vittorio at like 6 or 6:30 local time. So like I just haven't played for a while. So my opening hand, so I go first, which is like not ideal with Kojo. Against Sigismar, you want to go second. But I go first, and then I have like a Tiny Jin Tengu opener. So pretty much I just screw up in every way possible. But like, so I play Tengu on like the token side, on the soldier token side, hero side. And then my plan is to like play the Tiny Jin on the appropriate side I need to. And like, it might not be a full punt, but I knew going into this, I'm just like, this opener only gets punished by Ordis Trooper, Ascended Trooper. I like knew that up front. And then, but the problem is I could have played around it. If I played Tiny Jin instead, then I could just play the Tengu on same side as Buddha and then just make it a 1-1 and like waste the Buddha. But it's way better than being down an Expedition.
I was so happy that you were playing Tengu, by the way.
On the other side. And then this, like, he ends up playing the Ordis Trooper on the same side as the Tengu. And then I'm just like, well, like, I like can't do anything now because he has 3 in water and I have this Tiny Jin. And like, yeah, I just had to play Tiny Jin first. So I punted day 1. I don't remember the specifics, but I punted day 2 also. And when I say punt, I mean just like not optimal. And, yeah. And then like I get to a spot where I like equalize, but then I end up like drawing for my turn like 2 Duel of Grits, and then I just like can't advance anymore. I think I would have lost anyways because he like Skybound or he played as Ozma twice, which like draws him cards and stuff. So I wasn't winning that one. But it really felt bad to be misplaying. But yeah, like I can come up with excuses. I really do think I was like somewhat taken out of the zone from just like having such a long break.
That's fair.
Okay, so now you're 1-1. So what did you do next?
Yeah, 1-1. So he plays Trace, and I play Kojo again. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep on playing Kojo until I win. I also, yeah, like if he ends up playing Trace and he validates his Trace, I'd rather play my Sigismar against like the Kojo. But like, really, I just want momentum. I just want to feel like I'm winning. So in this one, I played day 1 and 2 well, if I recall correctly, but then I think I screwed up on day 3, or I screwed up on day 2. I screwed up on an earlier day that was not day 1, I remember. Excuse me. But also, my start wasn't that good. I think I did draw like one of the good uniques. I think it was the Ordis Spy, because I like sabotaged his Gian that he like frozen deliveried into, if I recall correctly. So like my start was good, but then I end up in a spot where he has restocking station Frankenstein, and I like am sputtering out and don't have enough like resources, and I have to like mana eruption his like Dr. Frankenstein that already resupplied. So that felt kind of bad. But luckily I had like a Jin that was like gonna give me mana or whatever. So yeah, we end up in the spot where I'm like adjacent and he has Kaibara counter 1, so he's 1 away, like 1 behind me. My hand has mana eruption, I have 7 mana. And I have a Haven in play. His board is, he has a Haven, I think the restocking station still. He has a Boom in his discard pile, or his reserve. So then, I put my 2 cards down, and I'm just like, okay, if things are just going my way today, this card is going to be a hunger. Not even one of these cards. This card's a hunger. I draw, and just the crowd erupts. And the problem is we had headphones on, and they asked us, can you make out words? And we both said we can't make out words, but we can hear amplitudes of volume. So I know he can hear the crowd erupt too. So the problem is, I think if he doesn't know that I have my one hunger, because I only played one, then I think he actually leads on something else, and then my hunger would be bigger. But he actually leads on playing a Grems from reserve, getting rid of one of his landmarks, and making the token. So then the token doesn't count for the hunger. So then my hunger would be one smaller. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he does that if he doesn't know I draw the hunger. Which is actually, that's, literally, what's going through my head is, oh my god, I might just lose because of the crowd. That would be so terrible. Whatever. So then I end up playing the hunger on the side that has 2 biomes to advance. He plays an Axiom Salvager on the side to advance. That's not the hunger. And then he ends up, resupplying into his Anansi that has the ability to get more from the reserves and stuff, and he ends up exactly 1 stat point short of forcing a tie. He wouldn't have stopped me from advancing because I poked through one of his holes, but he was I think 1 or 2 stat points. I think it was 1 stat point short of him doubling and me singling. I'd like to think I still would have won because I would have just played the hunger from the reserve and a mana eruption, which gives it 3 counters. So I would have 12 to 12 total in the arena. Because the mana eruption counts as a card, the card you discard, and the card your mana orb all count for the hunger. So then I would have had 6/6/6 on both sides, but in the arena that's 12 to 12. So I'm pretty sure I would have won anyways, but a very good way to win. Very nice. I demand we take a bathroom break now. So there's some cool photos of us taking the bathroom break. Val was together,
in the bathroom.
Funny. So then we come back, and I'm just man, that was a good hunger. So what ends up happening is we come back. He's playing Trace. I'm playing Sigismar. And I just draw my opening hand. And I think literally when I drew the hunger and it successfully worked, in my head, I was already world champion. I don't know why. I was just this Sigismar list is very good. It's very aggressive. I just got this. So then I think I end up 2-0ing, then 2-1ing, and I think I just double 2 times, then single double or something to win.
It was so quick.
It was so fast. So all of AQZ afterwards made fun of me. So apparently, yeah, exactly. Apparently what I do. So when one side advances, I do this. I'm oh, so that side's advancing, with hand gestures to make sure we know what's happening. But apparently when I 2-0 people in particular, not 2-1, but if I 2-0, I go okay, so I double advance. And I just have this hand gesture of going like this. And it just happened 3 turns in a row of just me going.
It was insane.
You're flying. Is this what this means?
That's what Keelan guy asked me. He's you were double ascended when you do that. Is that why? I'm no. I don't even know what you're talking about, but no.
That was one of the best Sigismar games I've ever seen.
So quick. I just couldn't.
He
I watched the replay.
He sputtered out a little. Yeah. So I win. I you both saw me in Dallas. When I won, I just gave a quick yes, dude. And then shook hands, had you guys hoist me up or whatever. But it was I was happy, but I wasn't too expressive or whatever. I was, but not that much, right? So here I'm yes, and then I get up and I just run to Val. So then I hug and kiss her. There's really nice pictures of it. Then I have AQZ oh no, before that I scream let's go, and the crowd is going nuts. I don't know how well the camera was able to catch or any of the mics, but I'm screaming let's go, and I can't even replicate it, but everyone's screaming. There's this great picture that someone took, one of the photographers, that's on an angle, and it just has me this, and the thing that stands out to me the most is on the bottom right. You can see a picture of Trickster, and we all know Trickster. He's not the most outwardly expressive, and you literally just see him
nice.
Just mouth wide open, arms out. I'm just this is how I knew this meant more to people than just me.
It was.
Yeah.
Any chance we could go to the last slide, I think, was what we're looking at here.
Absolutely.
So honestly, it was fantastic to watch. It's great to hear your recap of where we were and what you did. We can go through here. These are the matches that you spoke through, and I'll make it available. But it's so cool to see a Kojo player get the crown. It is, and not just that, just have you get this. It's been fantastic to see your journey. the thing that most people will talk to you as we close off or talk about you is incredibly approachable and really nice. Everyone you played as an opponent in Dallas, not just that, but anyone that would approach you, you're willing to talk to them. A very, very deserving winner. Hopefully not the only winner for this game. So we will continue to see this. I know.
I'll just win next year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't even worry about it.
So one thing I will be looking forward to seeing is I would love to work with you to get myself one of these, copy of this card one day, because I know you're only allowed one a year.
Now, here's what I will say. Here will be the bonus episode for this. Is we are going to live stream, and I'm telling you this right now, just so we can have a fun time with this. We're going to live stream you and me playing your Kojo deck against my Nadir deck.
I don't know if you got much of a chance, Nick.
No, that's the point. That's why it's going to be really funny to watch, because I want to see how you go up against the Nadir deck.
Yeah. I might have to use different uniques just because I was borrowing 2 of them.
That's fine.
Or I was borrowing all 3 of them, but only one of them is from AQZ. But I can use different uniques. But I love Nadir. Nadir's my favorite hero in the new set.
Same.
I think it's so much fun. I actually won an Ace event with Nadir yesterday.
Nice.
Well,
nice to see you back at it. Well, we want to say thank you for your time. This last hour and a half, almost 2 hours, has been fantastic. I know people are going to love hearing your take, and see your excitement in reliving the journey at Worlds. The event was fantastic. From my perspective, one of the coolest things, and you mentioned it just there, is when anyone won a game, you could hear the crowd through the speakers, through the cast, and that's really cool to see the support that people had for one another. And also, from our perspective, being Americans, I'm not really born in America, but I live here now, is to see someone that I knew get the prize. And as much as you feel sad for the French who didn't get second place either, there is so much strength in the game, and the majority of the uniques played, while they were strong, they're not unachievable to get. And I think that's where it's not just about uniques. Uniques will help you in many cases. Like when you won with the Sigismar in your last game, you didn't even get a unique.
Yeah.
And you won that.
Yeah, that's true.
So well done. Hats off to you, my friend. Congratulations. Thank you for bringing us back a couple of things from Worlds as well. Look forward to catching up very soon. Oh, look at that.
So no, it was definitely really nice. Just like the support of AQZ, I literally checked my phone every round, having physical people there, like from AQZ. But even once, I think it was either Popeye or Tempete was the last Altered Acers person eliminated. I forget. I think it was Tempete. I literally ran into 5 different Altered Aces people, and they're all like, "We want you to win," and I'm like, "You saw French people," and it doesn't have to be me. And they're like, "No, we really like you. It has to be Rinku. We want you to win." And I was just like, man, I feel so much pressure. But just running into so many people, and so many people, there's a picture I got with Tempete Apava. I'm like, one of the best Kojo players and one of the best players in the world. They want a picture with me, and they're both like, "We get a picture with the world champion." It was just it was so much vibes all around. Or just meeting, Genetic went up to me. It's like, "Hi, I'm Genetic," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, thank you for playing so much Kojo." Well, just meeting all the people, people going out of their way, the support was awesome. But just even if you weren't me in that tournament, you got to meet people you only knew online. The vibes were so good. I really hope we have another one.
Yeah, it's like meeting your friends from the Xbox Live days. Back when you were doing LAN parties or everybody knows what I'm talking about when I'm referring to that. So.
All right, anyway, I know, Rinku, Nick, you've got to go. So
so Rinku, thank you so much for this. This has been so much fun. It's been so interesting to hear your experiences at World. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed this, hearing from the world champion himself on the premier Altered podcast, Hero's Guide to Asgartha, and hopefully, we get to see each other at Worlds next year. You know, but if it doesn't happen, at least we have this moment that
it will happen.
I hope it does. I sincerely hope it does. It will happen, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be in the U.S. Watch that happen. It's gonna happen. That's what I'm hoping for, is that World will happen in the U.S., in Las Vegas. It's not going to be Vegas. It's going to be here in Utah. Just watch. So, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. We sincerely appreciate everybody's support for each other in this game, and because that's what this game is about. It's about community. It's about supporting one another. It's about allowing everybody to have that moment to feel like I belong here. So everybody, I hope you remember that feeling, and I hope that we take that into the future for this game, because we all love this game so much. And so with that, we will leave it at that, and we will absolutely see you on the next one.
Ciao.
Hasta luego.
Bye.